5 politicians were killed in one weekend in South Africa. Each death bears the hallmarks of an assassination. The 5 people killed represented 4 different political parties. 2 of them were killed in Cape Town, 2 in Johannesburg, and 1 in Nelson Mandela Bay. Sinovuyo Dyokwe, a Democratic Alliance representative, was also an anti-crime activist, operating in Cape Town, a city well known for entrenched organized crime groups. In our assassinations database, we categorize assassinations according to 4 different categories. 2 of these are politically motivated murders and organized crime-related murders. In these cases, the lines between politics and organized crime are very blurry, especially when we consider Ms. Dyokwe, who, in addition to being a ward councillor candidate for the Democratic Alliance, was also an anti-crime activist and operating in areas that are heavily crime-ridden and where prominent organized crime groups operate. So while the motivation for these murders is likely political, there is substantial chance that they were organized crime related too. The process ranges from simple arrangements to more complex ones. A simple arrangement could be a politician who wants to murder a rival politician procures the services of an organized criminal group to do so. Sometimes the relationships run deeper, and when it comes to the award of certain contracts, organized crime groups can influence political outcomes, and they can do this through intimidation of politicians or through bribery, corruption, and the like. It doesn't always have to entail some kind of coercion, but it is something that does entail a corrupt relationship of some kind. Politics invariably influences how organized crime is approached in the country. And if you can capture portions of the state, you can scupper investigations into your own activity. So the state itself can provide protection for your criminal operation. This is what we refer to in the Global Organized Crime Index as state-embedded actors. And the more organized crime groups can embed themselves in the state, the less likely investigations and prosecutions of members of organized criminal groups is likely to occur. So the idea is for these organized crime groups to embed themselves in the state to secure protection for their activities. It is a lucrative market in and of itself. The shooters can get paid varying amounts depending on the degree of expertise and specialization that they have and the profile of target in question. So some gang members might be paid as little as 10,000 Rand per hit, whereas others can be paid as much as $500,000 to R1 million. And depending on where they operate, this depends on the person commissioning the hit and where the target resides. Hitmen operating mostly in Cape Town, for example, have reported conducting hits elsewhere in the country, Johannesburg, for instance. So this speaks to how prolific the nature of the market is, how there's already a pool of hitmen for hire, and how, for someone who's willing to pay, it's easy enough to have someone murdered in South Africa. On the 3rd of July, an arrest was made in the case of Sicelo Mleve. No other arrests have been reported. When it comes to contract killing, it is more likely that the shooter will be arrested than the mastermind. There have been numerous arrests of suspected assassins who were later convicted in South Africa. However, very few investigations have been able to conclusively determine the masterminds behind these hits. Most of them continue to run free, and there is a pervasive sense of impunity amongst this particular class, that being the masterminds. And because of this, assassinations have become more common as people realize that if they have a problem, it can be solved through violence. The shooters themselves, if they are arrested, generally their families on the outside will be taken care of, so they will do the years in the prison and they will not talk. And this creates a serious barrier to investigations into people at the top level of these schemes to have people murdered. Unfortunately, given the normalization of violence in South African society, many people simply choose to move forward and forget about things. The news cycle in South Africa turns over very quickly, and yesterday's news very quickly becomes irrelevant, unfortunately. And because of this normalization of violence, many in the country have become numb to it. And this is a serious problem because if we are going to truly make a difference, it is very important that we continue to make noise of people whose lives have been lost. Additionally, this just deters good people from running for office. During election years, political violence invariably increases. especially given that these forthcoming local government elections are at a critical juncture in South Africa's democracy, where municipalities or service delivery at municipal level has either collapsed in many municipalities or is collapsing. And many office bearers will be looking to defend their positions when there is widespread anger and resentment for incumbent administrations. Intelligence-driven operations are key, but also identification of likely targets and security measures and risk assessments being taken for them. These can be done not just by police in South Africa, but also by political parties themselves. We need to understand that no one who is running for office is safe, and stringent security measures are required. Intelligence-driven operations are absolutely essential, because if we are to make a dent in assassinations in South Africa, masterminds need to be prosecuted. The sense of impunity needs to be shattered. Until this is done, these assassinations will continue.